everyone, and welcome to Valley View Living. My name is Megan. I have 6 kids aged from 1 through to 14, and we live out here on 5 acres in the country in New South Wales, Australia. We are learning how to homestead as we go. We are homeschooling our kids, and I do a ton of homemaking every day in real life, and I share it here with you on my channel. I'm starting this morning with trying to use up all the fruit in the fridge before we get our next veggie box delivery tomorrow. So it was a cold morning and it was an early start. I don't know if you're in this season where you have kids from babies through to teens. It means that you've got people awake until 9:30, 10 at night until, your own bedtime. And then you've got babies still waking up at 6, 7 in the morning, even though it's cold and it's dark outside. I don't know why they want to wake up at this time. Wouldn't you just want to snuggle in bed on a winter's morning if you had nothing that you had to do? But no, they like an early start. So we pick ourselves up bleary-eyed and we come out to the kitchen and start the day. The heater is on, it's warm in here, and I've just cut up all this fruit for the kids to start and snack on, and anything that's left over I'll just put back in the fridge and we'll keep eating that until it's all gone today. So I'm just going to put on a pot of hot chocolate for them too. That seems to help spirits so that people can just wake up slowly and gently. The little ones are all just watching Play School at the moment, so I'm going to make this hot chocolate, have my own cup of hot tea. Then I'll get started on a more filling breakfast. Just some scrambled eggs this morning with some ham that I picked up at Woolies yesterday. And it just really hits the spot on a winter morning. A nice filling hot breakfast. I had a day off from the kitchen yesterday. My dad and I actually took a few of the kids out as part of their school to a museum. So we spent the morning out just learning about the history of the area and some ancient artifacts and just learning history. So of course, if I'm not at home, I'm not in the kitchen. And if I'm not in the kitchen, there's no from scratch cooking being done. So I stopped off at Woolies on the way home and we just picked up a couple of the barbecued chickens and some sourdough rolls and a few other bits and pieces just to make a little sort of picnic lunch at home. And I have to say, it is nice to have a day off now and then. And everybody was so satisfied from lunch that dinner was a really simple affair as well. Trying to remember what we had, it was probably people making their own or having fruit or yogurt or granola or toast, that kind of thing. So I did not cook at all yesterday. And those days off, they do help me to feel a bit more refreshed. So I can step back in today and I'm cooking breakfast, lunch and dinner tonight as well. I've just pulled out the last of our pork chops to have for lunch today. I pulled them out last night. They've been defrosting overnight on the bench. I've got a mix of shoulder chops and pork chops. This is from our home-raised pork. So all that I have left of that now is a few kilograms of pork mince, lots of sausages, and a few roasts as well. I've had to clear the freezer out because we had our steer processed a few days ago and he did weigh out at 168 kilograms. as in that is the weight that we will receive back. So the butcher comes out and he does the job on our property. We receive certain cuts back on the day. I did ask him for the beef liver, so I've had the liver and we've processed that and I've frozen it. We also received the oxtail on the day and the jowls, which would be the cheeks from his face. And on that evening, we actually did cook the jowls up. The butcher told us that they would be the best, most tender meat if we slow cooked it, so we trusted him. Looked up a couple of recipes and we did that with a sort of Mexican style seasoning, I suppose, and we added in some beans, tomatoes and the spices and just slow cooked it down for maybe 4 to 5 hours. And oh my gosh, it was so good, like melt in the mouth. I've never had that cut of beef before and it was just so good, so impressive. So now the butcher has taken the steer back in his mobile cool room back to his property, and that's where the carcass will hang for at least a week, and then it will be cut up to our specification. Then we drive out to his property and pick it up all boxed up, all labelled and ready to be placed in our freezer at home. Now all the other offcuts, bits and pieces, his head, his hooves, his trotters, all that stuff that I didn't want to deal with, I'm sure a more hardy homesteader woman or man would absolutely take every little scrap and bits and pieces and use them all. But we did not, and the mobile butcher just requests for you to deal with that on your own property. So basically you dig a big hole and you bury it all. He had a beautiful pelt, and we did put some time into trying to find somebody who does traditional tanning, but apparently there's only one tannery left in Australia, and that's in Victoria, and it was just too far away and probably too expensive for us to justify this time around, which is a shame, but I would love to do that in the future. Here I'm just sharing some mail we got this morning with you. Little baby bee is helping me to open this. These are the corn chips that I'll buy probably once a month, and they are cooked in avocado oil. They're really good because one of my kids is quite fussy, quite picky, limited diet. So I just try to swap out the things that she does eat to a more nutrient dense version wherever I can. And at least these ones are organic and they have avocado oil instead of seed oil. So it's probably the best that I can do. There we go. Hello, ladies. So we give our pigs scraps from almost everything. I wouldn't ever give them any kind of processed meat product, but we do give them all the fruit and veggies, any kind of dairy that the kids don't finish. If you don't finish your hot chocolate, I'll just pour it into the pig slops, all of that. And as you can see, they're definitely growing. They're big and they're round and they're fat and strong. They also have this entire paddock to forage in. They've actually haven't done too bad of a job of keeping the paddock in shape. So I've had pigs before that were just crazy with rooting up the soil, and they would have turned this over in a couple of weeks. But these girls are a little more passive in that way, and I can see that they've gone around the boundary of this paddock. Look, and obviously they're rooting around for bugs and grubs and all kinds of protein foods under the soil. But yeah, I do suspect that my youngest pig here is pregnant, but I don't think that my sow is pregnant at the moment. So that will be interesting. Pigs are pregnant for 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days is the old farm law. So we'll see. We'll see if there are piglets coming up in our future. Good baby. So at the moment we do not currently feed these pigs any kind of grain, any kind of commercial pig food, any kind of supplement at all. They are absolutely just on table scraps and free-ranging pasture. Well, it's not free-ranging. It is a good-sized pasture though. And of course they have fresh water and whatnot. As you can see, pigs can get pretty protective over their food supply. But these two work well together. That's mother and daughter. We have not had any issues at all. I think every homestead, farm, every house with a big enough backyard should have a pig. We would really just cut down on that problem of all the food waste being thrown away, all the leftovers that you don't eat, all that stuff you could just give to your pig. And then later on you can eat your pig. It's a beautiful circle of life. Now we've just got to get on with doing our schoolwork for the day. It's getting on to 10 o'clock. I've got to go and help the kids with their school. Then I will work on lunch and I'll catch up with you at lunchtime. I found some old Kit Pass crayons in the cupboard that we never used. I bought them probably years ago for a homeschool art project, and this was the perfect winter's day to crack them out and decorate some of the windows and the doors in the house. These are awesome. You can just draw on the glass and they wash right off. They're so smooth, they go on beautifully. I love having this kind of thing up my sleeve for when the kids are restless. Just back to the steer processing briefly. So that cost us $690 to have him processed, and the steer itself cost $500, and he was delivered to our property here in New South Wales. He was actually raised on the bottle. He was a little too friendly and could get aggressive at times. He was a speckled park cross something, I'm not sure. But he dressed out pretty well for only, I think he was 12 months old, maybe a little older. But we're running out of grass here on our very small farm. We probably only had 3 to 4 acres of pasture. And at the time that we had this steer, we had 5 cows. Now cows eat a lot. You really can't imagine how much a cow eats unless you have had one on your property. Particularly a lactating or pregnant cow, they just eat full-time. Full-time eating is their job, just constantly cropping grass. So at this time of year when we have less light, the grass stopped growing and it really becomes a pretty expensive ordeal to keep your cows in hay. So it was a perfect time to have this steer butchered. I will actually record and go through everything that we get back from the butcher. And of course, I'll give you all due warning if that's not of interest to you. It won't be a video that you'll be interested in. I don't go into any graphic detail. I will just take you through the cuts that we get back and the cost for the whole thing, the way that it breaks down, and how much it costs in comparison to buying beef either from a farmer or from the supermarket, and how it all works out in the end. So we got through school this morning. It was a bit of a rough morning. We had some, it was just difficult to get through our school time. That happens sometimes. You know, we don't always feel like doing our work, and the kids' work is being a student. So, you know, I just go easy on them really, but they do have to complete that work if they want to do kids stuff, which these days is basically watch Minecraft videos. And you probably know what I mean. But anyway, so we got through that. We spent some time outside, and then we had a real cold change here. It is winter, and where we live, we can get snow to the ground. It's rare, but it can happen. And yeah, we had a real cold change. It probably dropped by 5 degrees. And so we all came inside, closed up the house, got the heaters running. We might make a fire this afternoon. And it's just a real cozy indoor, watch a movie, chill out kind of afternoon, which is how it should be in winter, right? I really deeply feel that the long summer days expend so much energy from us, from our kids, from ourselves, that once winter rolls around and the sun comes up so late and it sets so early, it's really okay to give ourselves that time when we feel it, when we feel really tired, we feel exhausted and we just want rest. It should be okay for us to have that time, more rest in every day, and get ready for the new season, which will be upon us before we know it. Little break for some outside time. School's done. It wasn't an easy morning, but it's done. Baby's napping. I'm gonna go check out what the kids have been doing at their cubby house. We also found this little den in clearing out a space for the kids' cubby. So I'm not sure who lives in here or who has lived in here. It could be foxes, are big in this area. I don't know, maybe quolls have dens. But we did set up a camera, the GoPro, around the evening in case it was a crepuscular animal, and we did not get any footage. So I just thought that was really cool and I wanted to show you. Just taking a minute while the baby has a nap and lunch is in the oven. It'll be ready in about 15.
Oh, your dear, it's here.
So thanks for joining me today as I go about my homemaking tasks and talk about homesteading with you. I love to have your company. If you've enjoyed today's content, please feel free to like or comment or subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.